Jujitsu, when I hit you, then I split you. Jujitsu, when I hit you, then I split you.
So, Two Live Fools, folks, another late night episode, and today we have a special guest, Mr. David Weiss, or as the fans know, Mr. Flat Earth Dave. So, yeah, we're gonna get into it. So we'll just jump right in, man. So, what's the deal with this flat Earth, man? What's
the deal with the ball Earth, dude? The spinning helio nonsensical ball is ridiculous. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour, and that entire system's moving sideways at 1.3 million miles per hour.
Okay.
Right? But the stars never change. You know, we have bodies of water that are perfect mirrors, even though they tell us that at the equator, the water bulges 14 miles high, which is ridiculous. How come Africa's not underwater? Right? All of those motions, we have stuff going on like this and like this, right? It makes no sense whatsoever. If you actually look at the numbers, the speed that the Earth is spinning, it would explode. You ever see a slow motion video where they take a disc and they spin it faster and faster and faster until it can't hold it, it breaks apart?
Yeah, they put a CD on like a Dremel and they spin it and it just
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you do the mathematics of the Earth spinning, it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, it would explode.
Okay. And what's that theory? Like if the Earth were to suddenly stop spinning, everyone would be thrown at 16,000 miles an hour and killed.
Good thing it's not spinning. It's perfectly still.
Perfectly still. Okay.
Perfectly still.
So
Doesn't
what?
It feel perfectly still.
So what initially kind of got you into like this flat Earth theory? Like that made you start
well,
to
it's not
think?
the theory. The globe is the theory. So what got me into it is I was doing a conspiracy podcast and people started saying, "Hey, Dave, you got to look into flat Earth," and I just ignored them like any smart person would, and I deleted them from our social media for being so stupid, and I couldn't believe it. And then another researcher forced me to look, who I trusted, said, "Dave, you got to look into this," and I was like, "Not really." And then she sent me Mark Sargent's clues. Mark Sargent early on heard about flat Earth, and he's like, "Wait a minute. This can't be." And then he started looking into it and he's like, this doesn't make any sense on the ball. So he made a series of short videos called Flat Earth Clues, basically just saying, if the Earth is a spinning ball, how does this work? And he would ask a question and he expected some PhD, some scientists to, comment, to get back to him and say, "Oh, this is how it works, you stupid." And he would be done with it, but no one ever got back. And the farther in you look, the more you realize that, the more you realize that you don't know anything. Here's what globers do know, what they think they know. They think that flat earthers think that the Earth is a disc floating in space. We don't, okay? And they think they know about the heliocentric model, but they don't even realize what it is. They think they know about gravity, but they don't even know that gravity is just a theory, and it makes no sense whatsoever. There's all sorts of problems. So we can start anywhere you want. Like, let me ask you a question. Like, Drew, what makes you think you live on a globe?
Let's see. If we go back to the beginning, kindergarten, the round globe on the at the end of class that everyone used to play with and everything. So I mean, that's where it starts.
Okay.
Well, that's also what we've been told our whole lives. So
yeah, you've never
Right.
thought to like question it.
Go ahead.
And this is real because here's a photo of a dinosaur, and they have toy dinosaurs, so they're real too.
You have a point.
Is that your best proof of the that we live on a globe? Is that there was a model of a globe in your class?
I'm not really saying it's proof. It's just like you said, like Garrett was saying. I've always told that, and like you never really question it because you're like, okay, whatever. You're like,
you know what, Drew? That's true because we're trusting, caring people. Like the default is everyone's telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Especially the people that you put in high regard, like your teachers and doctors. They're all, you just trust them, blind faith, right? When you go to kindergarten and first grade and second grade, their teacher's the God, right? You're like, oh my God, whatever they say is the truth. Well, they're not lying to you. They're just the ones that memorized and regurgitated the Rockefeller nonsense the best, and they became the new teachers.
See,
So
that's
they're not
why I
bad
think I
people.
could be. That's why I think I could be swayed either way because I've looked into, as many call it conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
and you've been like you said, regurgitated things for many, many years. But once you wake up to one thing, you start questioning everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just haven't had enough research into the scientific end of the globe and the flat Earth. I mean, most people would say, well, why haven't you ever seen a picture of the Earth that's flat? You only see globes. Now I know NASA's a bunch of malarkey, as you would call it nicely. So,
Right.
but
Peop-
that's what most people would say is like, there's pictures. Why don't you
Yeah.
show us a picture of a flat Earth?
Yeah, well, these are pictures, and they're exactly that. They're pictures. NASA never uses the word photograph because they don't want to lie. And the guy that made this, is Robert Simmons. He admitted it's made in Photoshop. He's like, he's just making through data that he's given what we would expect the Earth to look like. Then the next picture they gave us is this one. Look at the size of the United States. It's completely changed. Right.
Yes.
Now, some people say, well, that's because the focal length and this and that. And I say that's nonsense. If we take this one, here's something we can verify. We can drive across Mexico and go across Baja Bay and across Baja, and we come up with 934 miles. They tell us the Earth is 7,917 miles in diameter, a straight line, not the curve, a straight line through the Earth is.
So if they flattened it out, it would be that long.
Yeah. So not even flatten it out. It's just if you drew a line through the center of the Earth, this is the width.
Cut it. Yep.
This is the width. This is the diameter. Okay. Not the circumference. It's the diameter.
Okay.
And you'd have to fit 8.5 of these segments in between these two lines. All right. So this shows you that this is a painting. This is a horrible painting. And if you believe this painting, you also have to believe that the rest of the land outside of this circle is on the other side of that painting.
Yeah.
All of this land is on the other side of that ball. So there's no photos of Earth. What else you got? Dude, this is the hardest part. You're giving me flashbacks to when I went through what you're going through right now. And do you have any water? Just drink some water while I'm talking to you, because your cells are going to be freaking out a little bit.
Well, so then I know one of the theories with the flat Earth is that we're surrounded by Antarctica, right? That's why we can't go over it. We're not allowed to be there. I know there's there's no fly zones. Like there's no really explanation for that.
Yeah. So here's what the Antarctica is. We live in the Antarctic basin, right? Just like a big pond or a lake is in the basin of the hills, right? Okay. And the edge of the lake or the pond is where the water's just higher. The land is higher than the water surface. It's the container. So Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Everything else is lower than Antarctica, right? So we live in this pond, right? All of the continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica.
So then what's on the outside of Antarctica?
Hold on. Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of a ball. Antarctica is not this. Antarctica is the
outer layer.
And so if you sail to the edge of the Earth, this isn't the edge of the Earth, it's just the edge of our pond. You'd have to climb out of your boat and get onto Antarctica. And then what's out here? Thousands and thousands of miles? We don't know, because no one's allowed to go beyond this pink line with any fuel. Antarctica is off limits. All of the countries in the world during all of the wars and everything since 1959 signed on to this treaty. Every treaty that's ever been made has been broken except this one. We have to protect the penguins and the ice. Okay. Are you kidding me? Right. And no one is allowed to independently explore out there until the year 2041, where they'll kick it down the road another 60 years.
So why do you think they put the number on 2041? Just to buy them time?
Because they couldn't say 160 years. They had to come up with something. Maybe.
So what was their reasoning to first put the original number on it to kick it to that?
Well, because they came up with it, they had to come up with something. Maybe they just knew that their New World Order plan, they figured they'll have it done then, and it won't matter what people think, because we'll all be slaves inside of a technocracy where there's nothing we can do about it anyway. So this is the shoreline of the world. What's beyond there? I don't know. Maybe there's more land, extra territory beyond there. Okay. Extra terra and extra other oceans out here with another sun. Okay. So
then what do you think the universe is?
I don't believe the universe is what everything that we see in the sky is within the Earth system. Everything that we see is within the Earth system.
So you think we're just one thing?
We're just one. The way I look at it is the Earth plane is the basement of the universe, and we are here with a small local sun that circles around our Earth, and all of the stars and everything that we see are energetic sources within the Earth system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the planets and everything else are just energetic.
Yeah. So planets, the only the pictures of planets come from two sources, Disney and NASA. And the ones from Disney are more credible, basically. This is what Mars looks like through a P900 camera. It's a little out of focus, but it's an energetic source. It's its own light. It's within the Earth system. It's very close. Astrology is the real science. Astronomy is pseudoscience, right? When we look at stars, this is the star Arcturus, right? This is supposedly 50 trillion miles away. It's not. It's right here within our system. What are they? I don't know. Maybe they're souls. I don't know.
What do you think about that, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to like the same thing, like planets, and then when you look at like these probes like going out to Mars, so you're saying that's initially all hoax when you see like these landers landing on Mars and whatnot, and seeing this like
it's a total hoax. Here's a shot from NASA's website, and it's from Mars because you can see the corner of the rover, which is another impossibility. And here's a shot from Greenland. It's the same friggin' hell.
It's the same picture. Yeah,
it's the same picture.
They just turned it a different color,
right? And if you they just landed a rover on Mars the other day. Remember that?
Yep.
So here's the proof that they landed on Mars. Okay, this is the proof. This is what we saw on television.
The computer.
This is what they showed us. This is what. And look at these people. The tension, right? This is what they showed us as proof of landing on Mars.
A computer model.
This isn't even a computer model. This is like South Park. Okay. Right. And people just eat it up. People eat it up.
So they basically just make it and say they're tracking it and, we landed on it.
Yeah. So then my question is, like the Globe Trolls will say, what do you think that's real video? Of course it's not real video, but they never tell anyone. They don't tell all the kids that are watching this that this is just computer graphics. My question is, if they were just interpreting data and stuff, if it crashed, did they have an animation of it crashing?
That's a good
point.
Right.
And also they tell us that the atmosphere on Mars is like 1% of the atmosphere on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about parachutes, a parachute won't open, someone jumped from like 80,000 feet and the parachute didn't open until like 50,000 feet. Okay. Right. 1% is like at 150,000 feet. We can't even get helium balloons up that high. Okay. So how did it open? How did the parachute open? How did the helicopter fly? We can't fly helicopters that high.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Helicopters can't go to the top of Everest. Now, there's supposedly some, special forces helicopters that can go up to 70,000 feet, not 150,000 feet. Okay. Well, they're telling us the atmosphere at the surface is 1%. That's like 150,000 feet, right? These are a bunch of kids from space camp, along with a bunch of other deceivers. Okay. Look, yay, we landed. This is all the proof it took. This is the only proof that we have anything on Mars.
So then the pictures that they sent back for the rover, I know a lot of them and I've heard it because I've watched some of the stuff and they're like, well, this is the rendering of a bunch of little pictures. So we made our best estimated guess on what it looks like. So it's really not pictures. It's just a bunch of little pixels that they tried to put together to give them an idea of what it looks like. Right.
So they do a lot of their testing on Devon Island. Now, this isn't from NASA. This is an actual shot from Devon Island and they just put a sepia tone on it. And this is, what we see.
Where's
Mars.
Devon Island?
Devon Island is up in Greenland, up near Greenland or in Greenland.
Okay.
Off of Greenland. And literally we have photos of NASA rovers on Devon Island with trucks. Is that
where they test them?
Stuff. That's where they test it. Why do they have to go all the way up there? Right? It's because it looks like what they're showing us.
Yeah.
And then there's pictures from the moon and Mars where they screw up and there's animals, there's squirrels and shit in the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew, you ever seen them?
No, I'm actually gonna Google that right now because
I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. So right now, share screen. So this is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app.
Okay.
And if I hit the little color wheel, up come images. And let me see if I can find one. So there's a famous panoramic shot from the moon. And this is just one section of it. Now, I'm not saying this is an animal. It kind of looks like an animal, but look at that. That's a step and repeated image, right?
Yeah.
This is the same as this, right? Some people are saying it's an animal. I don't have the one right handy that has the rock, there's one that has like this marmot or whatever it is, and it's something that lives on Devon Island. They show it. But everything they show us, they're faking. I mean, you believe in the moon landing, Drew?
Well, that was gonna be my next question. So now when you see these videos, SpaceX launching like Falcon Heavy and like all these different vehicles in outer space. So what is that? Is it just coming up and coming down, or is there actually?
Yeah. So first, this is the moon lander, or is this a 5th grade paper mache and tinfoil and curtain rod project?
It does.
Okay.
Like
So let me the stuff that they show us, all rocket launches, there's never any humans on them. A lot of them are fake. Like this is a rocket, a SpaceX rocket that went up. So there's so many things wrong with these things. First, this isn't even real. This is a projection. This is a holographic projection. We've caught them with their projectors on the lawn at NASA.
Like
okay?
Project
But
Bluebeam?
watch what happens. There's a glitch. Yeah, this is a glitch. Watch what happens to the top half of the rocket. All of a sudden, the top half of the rocket disappears. Right? Here it goes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There it goes. I'll zoom in.
Yeah.
And this happened live during their launch. Okay.
So you can kind of see it behind it. It goes out for a second. It comes out.
Yeah.
Now, what could some people say? Oh, it was the atmosphere, even though it's
how would that be? It's shooting up. Is the atmosphere moving with it? I mean, this is clearly a projection problem. There's all sorts of different issues that they have. Here's a Blue Origin flight. And at takeoff, watch how many cuts are. Every time you watch a takeoff, there's cuts. It's a movie, right? So here's cut
they
one,
go like from
right? One, boom. So we see a little bit of fire, 2, okay, then another 3, right? Now it's going off, right? What the heck is that? This is real. There's 4, 5. Who's filming this? Right, there was another glitch there, which I'll show you in a second.
Yeah, who is filming that?
Yeah,
when they say it's like a drone.
What kind of fuel? This one doesn't leave a trail. Sometimes they do leave a trail. It's nonsense. Sometimes they launch miniatures. Sometimes they launch balloons. Okay. Sometimes it's all CGI. You with me?
Yeah, no, they definitely. That's the only reason, like I said, I'm a little swayable because Drew can contest. I'm like, they fuck with everything. They mess with everything. There's nothing in there. You can't believe what's in front of your eyes. Like they're always messing with you.
What is this? Is this a blimp?
That's a heavy bag floating in the air.
Or is that 40? Or
That's an Everlast bag painted brown.
Or is that 40,000 pounds of steel falling to Earth? Now watch. I'm going to show you how fast it's not going. There's going to be a piece of paper that's in the air. Oh, see, just went by. Okay, so that just shows you that this thing is floating and moving in the wind. I'm not even sure that we're looking down. We might be looking up at this thing. Okay, you can't.
If you're
tell.
looking up, how are they creating that movement? You think?
So, well, because it's just drifting in the wind, and they're following it with a drone or whatever. They're filming.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, see, another piece of paper went by.
Yeah.
So
why is there piece of paper flying by?
Well, you know what? I don't know. Maybe because they've thrown so much shit in the air. Who knows?
So that's another thing. So like if they have stuff in the air, right? So they say there's so much space junk from satellites and all the shit that we've launched and stuff that's broken off. That's supposed to be orbiting, right?
Yeah.
So if the Earth is flat, and there's a dome, what's it do? Hit the ceiling and sit there? Or does it
well,
float?
no, the rockets, all NASA rockets, they go up, they curve out, they go over the Bermuda Triangle, and then they disappear. You're watching a cartoon.
But I'm
within
saying
6 seconds.
the floating debris, like you're saying the paper's
No,
floating
I'm
up
just
there.
saying this thing is up there, and I couldn't tell you. Maybe one of the helicopters, the guy lost a candy wrapper. I don't know. Honestly, that's probably one of the best.
But that's what I'm
explanations.
saying, because you know how they do say that there's like space junk up there.
Let me show you how easy it is to fool you. This is from the space shuttle, and the question I ask you, Drew, is why don't we see land? Easy answer.
It's not a trick question, Drew.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because we're over the ocean.
We're over the ocean.
But this isn't the Earth. This is the sky taken from our front yard. Okay, with a solar panel. Right.
All right.
That's how easy it is to fool people. I was fooled by it. I was fooled by it when it was shown to me. I was like, geez, that was good. So this is the space shuttle is orbiting and it's following this thing that's falling. How is that possible? The space shuttle is orbiting at 50,000 miles an hour. No, 17,000 miles an hour. How's this thing going sideways at 17,000 miles an hour? He just jumped. I just showed you for how fast. Look how fast he fell.
Yeah,
That's the guy who broke the speed of sound, right? The strata jump.
That was the Red Bull jump.
Yeah,
that he went up in the thing.
That was the other mind control thing. He said he saw the curvature of the Earth. He may have believed it because he's wearing a curved helmet, so he's looking through curved glass. Everything's curved.
Well,
but this is all New Mexico. All of this land is New Mexico. This is planet New Mexico, right?
Planet New
It's
Mexico.
not. It's a fisheye lens. We can see all these rivers and stuff. This is all New Mexico. All of this is New Mexico. Red Bull did 2 practice jumps before the one that they aired, and it showed a flat level horizon. But then they changed it to GoPros for the official one, and decided to make it a proof of the globe by having a fisheye lens.
Well, I know like Neil deGrasse Tyson has even said, like, it's so big, even if you were that high, you wouldn't be able to see the curvature.
Well,
you would have to go up to an extraordinary now.
Okay. Yeah, they used to say that you can see it from the 70,000 feet or regular airplanes, and then we put balloons up to 121,000 feet,
and
there's no curvature.
Flat.
Yeah. So he Neil came back and said, "Oh, you can't even see it. That shit is flat." He said, or that stuff is flat. Sorry, excuse my language.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm like a truck driver. It's fine. So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Another thing with the space shuttle. So this is the SR-71, right? It goes Mach 3.2, right? Any faster and it starts falling apart and it can't have paint on it because it gets too hot. It gets like to 550 degrees.
Yeah.
Right. So Mach 3.2. And when you're looking at this thing straight on, it's like a razor blade, right?
Yeah.
Does this thing look like a razor blade? Does this look aerodynamic? This thing goes Mach, I can't see it because it's underneath.
Is it Mach 33?
33.
Yeah, Mach 33. It goes, 10 times faster than this thing. And if you look at it close up, there's like PVC pipe going down the sides. There's non-aerodynamic. It's all nonsense. And it has paint on it. This
isn't it special NASA?
That's why it turns over on its back when it's going up.
Yes, no, I do see that. And I never understood that trajectory, how it just starts coming up and curving and then it's upside down on its belly.
And that's because the red part is a blimp. But they take a metal tank and they parade it through a couple of towns on a truck really slow, and everybody can see it and see it. And then when it goes there, nobody sees the launch. They trade it out, and that's a blimp. NASA is the largest user of helium and owner of helium companies in the entire world. So, NASA, these guys that use green screens and CGI. This guy takes his microphone and sticks it. They're in different rooms, and he actually sticks the microphone into his neck because he misplaced where he was in the green screen.
I have seen that one before.
Yeah.
Listen, I've seen them Joe Biden putting his hand through mics, so I know they CGI the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Here, this thing is 4 million pounds. Why is it swaying in the wind like a bouncy house?
That is true.
Which flight was that? Like Apollo 11 or something?
No, this is a shuttle. This is a space shuttle. This thing is filled with helium.
So
This
that's
is a
why you're
balloon
saying
also. It's
Okay.
all a balloon. They're all rocket assisted balloons. They go up, they fly out over restricted water space, and then that's the end of it. And here's another thing. So you hear the announcer talking, and they're saying, you know, it's 20 miles downrange, blah, blah, blah. And when this thing was over 30 miles downrange, okay, 30 miles down. Oh, that it got cut off there.
Mhm.
Where's the okay? Yeah. So here's the shuttle getting ready to take off, right? This is a balloon. Remember that. And watch this thing. It goes up and down when it lifts. Now, this is 4 million pounds. When you start moving 4 million pounds up, it doesn't come back down. Right. And they show you this close up. These people are 10 miles away, but they make you think that they're right there. 10 miles away. That thing is this big to them. Okay. They can't even see it from where they are. Right. This is not where they are. They're way 10 miles away. And so when this thing lights, watch this fin just for a place marker. It goes up and then down. 4 million pounds doesn't bounce like this, up and down. Okay. And then
you don't think
this
the
is all-
thrust, you don't think the thrust let go for a second, and that's why it
4
kind of
million,
recoiled?
4
and
million,
then-
if there's 4 million pounds, 4 million pounds of superheated thrust that's coming out at 17,000 miles an hour, right? What does a 300 mile an hour wind do to things? It rips cement out of the
destroys it.
ground.
Yep.
That's
destroys it.
17,000 miles an hour of superheated thrust. Okay. So here's the thing. Ready? This is going like 20. It's between 20 and 35 miles downstream. So we'll just give them all the benefits. Say it's 20,000 miles. Now you can't hear the sound here, but when you watch when the thrusters, now they always tell us that the external thrusters, these puppies right
they
here,
pop off.
that there's no way to turn them off, right? But when they let go, they should actually fly off, but they don't. And then watch this. If you could hear the sound, the second they let go, you hear the burst of them letting go. Boom, you hear it at the exact second it happens. If it was only 20 miles downstream, that sound should have showed up 90 seconds later. Okay? 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? And how's this thing going sideways at the same speed this is going? Is that aerodynamic sideways? This thing is moving at 20 miles an hour, maybe. Okay? This is all complete and total nonsense.
And how's it still thrusting on that angle and moving into the plane sideways? Like
And how's it
It
moving?
should be
How come
pushing.
it
It
isn't-
should be
how come
being
it isn't
propelled
taking-
from the back, right?
It should be taking off. It should be spinning out of control. It shouldn't be able to go sideways. Everything is wrong with it. Every single thing is wrong with it.
So when you see like accidents, like especially like for one, like the Challenger like explosion that happened years ago. So was that essentially all hoax, or what? How did that?
Yeah, that's also trauma-based mind control. So the Challenger was the first one that was every student had a television rolled into their class. But somehow all of these people have identical twins that have the same name, the same birthday, and are still alive today working for universities. Okay?
Yeah, I did see something with that. I definitely did. Like all the people that were supposed to die in that crash all had twin brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and when they're confronted on this, they're like, "Oh, that was my twin brother and twin sister." How come none of them showed up at their funerals and spoke?
Good point there. I know if it was my twin, like they always say too, that bond between two twins, like some people can feel it when the other one goes, everything else. I mean, listen, not everybody likes their brother or sister, but you're going to tell me out of all those people, not one of them showed up?
Drew, where are you located? You're in Jersey also?
Yeah, I'm in Jersey.
So do you know about the Georgia Guidestones?
I do not.
So in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, there's this monument that was built in 1980 or 81, mysteriously built, and it has the marching orders for the New World Order on it. It has 10 commandments in like 12 different languages. It's crazy. It's insane. And it's not the message that's on there, but in the center, there's a hole in the center rock here, like a 1/4-inch hole that goes all the way through. And if you look at it, you got to remember we're spinning, twirling, and whirling in 4 different directions at once. But when you look through that hole, what you'll see is the star Polaris. If you do a time lapse, you'll see that Polaris is right in that hole. How is that possible for 40 years that Polaris has never moved? If we're corkscrewing through the universe, traveling billions of miles, how is Polaris still through that hole?
Unless you're spinning on a disc, is what you're saying.
Unless we're perfectly still and everything in the sky is spinning above us.
So how do you explain sunrise, sunset? How it's explained to us, it comes around, you don't see it, that's nighttime, it comes back around, that's daytime. So how do you explain that?
So when the sun is moving away, it's just moving away, and these clouds, which I inserted in here, it's set behind this cloud. Now it's going to set behind this one, but this one merges with the horizon. I could look at New York City across Long Island Sound from where I am in Connecticut. It's about 25 miles away, and if the clouds over my head are touching the water all the way at New York City. So the sun is above them, and it literally just goes beyond and sets like that.
Where's it go? So what it do? Does it just kick back and then come back like a TikTok?
No, it circles around. So the sun circles around the earth. So here's the sun, and it just circles around. I'll show you
like
a
clock.
Exactly. Look at you.
I know. I'm not that dumb. I'm pretty and smart.
So here's the clock, right? The sun is it's normally pinned to the hour hand, but we're in daylight savings time now, so it's trailing it. Yep. But the sun goes around once every 24 hours, and it laps the moon once every 28 days, right? See, it's catching up to the moon slowly. So the moon's phases keep track of the weeks and the months. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. And then if I turn on the stars are going slightly faster than the sun. And that way the sun remains in each zodiac for about a month. And then the one behind it will catch up. And the stars lap the sun once a year. So that's how the sun is in all the stars. But here's how seasons work. Let me show you. So the sun is right over the equator right now, which is this red line. Okay. And in a couple of months, it'll be over the Tropic of Cancer, which is this yellow line. And when it's over that, it's closer to us. It's higher in the sky. So we have our summer. 6 months later, it's over the Tropic of Capricorn, and the sun is farther away. So it's lower in the sky, right? Imagine if you had two planes paralleling each other. One of them.
How do you explain it bouncing like that? Like just moving from one rotation to the other one seasonally.
So it migrates in and out. What's called the analemma, and that also proves that it's making a bigger circle when it's over Capricorn, and it's a smaller circle when we're here. The sun is not a physical object; it's a projection inside the Earth system. And again, nobody knows exactly what it is, but it looks to be, it's non-physical. The sun that we see, there may be a physical sun above the dome. I couldn't tell you because nobody can go there.
So then, what do you non-physical? Explain that.
Let me just let me just finish with the app real quick. So that shows you how seasons work. There's a frequently asked questions button, right? Nice. What about gravity? What about the eclipses? Or where does the sun go? If I click where does the sun go, up comes a playlist of videos that YouTube won't show you. It shows you how the sun sets, what we're actually seeing. And these are videos that if you search for them, YouTube will feed you propaganda, and these videos will answer all of your questions. So let me get out of here.
Yep.
So what was your question? Where
the season, and then you said the sun is not a physical object. So you said it's more of a projection. Who's projecting it?
The creator. I don't know. It comes
God?
from outside of. Yeah, that's.
So and I'm not putting you on a spot here, but with this theory, you believe that there is a creator that just made this little dish with the ball. But I mean, I guess it's just as crazy as saying that, there was this creator and he made a round thing and spun it in a circle.
Well, it's less crazy than that. But, the whole thing is, I don't, if there is a God, They
Mhm.
could have created the whole universe, balls and everything, but all of science tells us that that's not the case. Everything we observe, everything, we can see too far, we can measure things. Every test for axial rotation has proved stillness. All NASA documents, FAA documents, everything. You still says to this day, treat the Earth as a flat, non-rotating plane. When they're modeling, aircraft and everything, it treats the Earth as a flat, non-rotating plane.
The
So,
pilots, right? The pilots treat it. They're told to treat it like that, right?
yeah, and most of them don't even think. The autopilot does the flying. They just land and take off. So here's a little experiment I did. So I made this level line. So my counter is the flat Earth.
Mhm.
And I'm just showing you, this is the sun going across the line, and I'm filming it from the height of the sun. So you
Mhm.
can see that it's going in a straight line. So in a moment, so this is these are mountains or clouds, whatever, cloud deck, whatever it is. And so now I'm going to show you from the other end of the room from the level of the Earth. This is the same thing, just being filmed from the level of my counter, and it sets beyond this
Your cloud structure.
the cloud, whether it's the cloud deck that you're seeing. And look at this line. This line is level, but it looks like it's going down.
Down. Yeah.
It looks like it's going down. And then the sun sets behind either a mountains, a physical thing, or what I call the deck of opacity. Look, watch this. This is a real sunset. What's it going behind here? This is the atmospheric deck of opacity. Okay. At a certain distance, the atmosphere becomes too thick for the sun to go beyond.
To shine through.
Yeah, to shine through. So it's setting beyond this atmospheric deck. Right. And that's all you're seeing.
So, all right,
Let me show you one more thing.
Okay.
This is my drone up at on a super clear day, 30 degrees, 32 degrees outside, no chemtrails in the sky, super clear. And this is filming the sunset. And the sun was up here, and it went, in 5 minutes time, it went down, 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 down. And if it was Earth was spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't. It went down, 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 and then it stopped. And it sat there for 10 minutes. Okay. Now, whether this is in focus or not, it sat there for 10 minutes and it never went below the horizon. Watch here. I'll show you again. It just faded out into the deck of opacity. Okay. It just couldn't. It's still there. I'm going back and forth now. It never goes below this line. Okay. And I'll show you, I'll model that for you. Here's a glass dome on top of a white little carpet, and I got a light, a pen light, and I'm just going across outside the dome. And inside the dome, there's this light, right? And it's going, if I was in the dome, I see it going down, 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 and it never goes below. It just stops and fades out, just like what we saw.
And then you think it just continues to circle around?
It circles around.
Because it's flat.
It circles around. So here's a sunset, where is this one? I forget where this one is, but this sun is not going down. It's clearly going away, right? Now, when it's in the sky, due to perspective, it'll go down, 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 down. But when it gets far enough away, when it gets to your eye level, it doesn't keep going down. It stops.
And then it just gets dark.
It stops and it goes away and it goes around, and its light can't push through. There's sunlight and there's daylight. The sun is electric in nature, and it's fluorescing the gases in the sky and part of the dome, perhaps. And the gases in the sky, there's a lot of nitrogen up there, and nitrogen fluoresces blue. It's just going away. It's not going down. It's just going away. And now it's over there. It's daylight over there. It's dark over here, right? Here's another one in Bulgaria, right? It all depends on if there was moisture in the air, the sun would appear to set over here because there would be an atmospheric deck that it goes behind, right? It would go, if I can move my hand right, it would set below that deck. See how it's setting below my hand, right? That's what it would look like, but the air is so clear.
It just looks like it's sucking out.
Yeah, it's just going away until its light can't reach you anymore. Light doesn't travel forever. It doesn't travel forever.
So how'd they get light years?
They made it up. It's nonsense. Light years. Hysterical. Right. Here's a balloon we had up. I think this is like 80,000 feet. The sun is over here. It's daylight. And over here, it's nighttime.
That makes sense. Looking at it like that.
Yeah.
So in certain areas of the world where it's like, isn't like Alaska where like the sun's up for like days or whatnot? Like, how does that work? Does that go back to like that clock that you were explaining?
Yeah. So
tell us
if you
about
look-
Alaska.
Yeah.
That's a good question. It's like 24 hours of light or 24 hours of dark.
The sun sets when it moves a certain distance away from you. But if we're all the way in here, okay. So Alaska, you see my mouse right here?
Yep.
So here's Alaska. The sun isn't that far from Alaska. It isn't that far. So this isn't far enough for it to set, right?
So it's
Over
always picking
here,
up that light.
It's always close enough. It's always close enough to see the sun. The sun's never going far enough away. Okay.
And then when it switches to the other plane, that's when it's dark
so now
for that
it's coming
time.
around again. Look, it's coming around again. It never really set. There's midnight for Alaska.
Yeah.
And then it's coming around again. It's getting a little closer, so the sun will get higher in the sky. So the sun is always low, but it's going around. Now, if I move it out 6 months, the sun never rises in Alaska, okay? Because it's too far away.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get it all the way out there.
Yeah,
right now,
no, I
'cause it only
gotcha.
jumps even months. And it's just far away.
So what's up with the moon?
What's up with the moon?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the moon. So check this out. Here's something that most people don't know. So the moon. So the sun migrates every 6 months. 6 months it goes out here. 6 months it comes back in. Right. The moon does the same thing every 28 days. So there's a 1 week a month where the moon doesn't set for people in the inner north, in Norway and certain parts of Alaska. People that are in here, the moon never gets far enough away because it's over the Tropic of Cancer.
So you look at
And
the
then-
center as north.
Yeah, the center is north, right? The center is north, and every direction away from the center is south. East and west are circles. Okay.
Circles.
So think about this. Think about this.
So if you're going
On
straight
the
line, if it's straight line, you're always going south.
every straight line goes south, right? If I'm here in America and I decide to go north, straight line, north. Oh, now I'm heading south and I'm in Japan, right? South. Boom. If I'm going this way, south, this is south. This is south. If I leave New York heading east, for my compass to go east, I have to keep turning. This is east. East is a circle. West is a circle. Billions of people have circumnavigated east and west. Nobody's gone south and popped up over in Australia. Never happened. No one's ever done it. Because
you can't fly over that area, right?
Well, you can't. It's because the Earth is flat, and you wouldn't.
What do you do? Run into the ice wall?
Yeah, you would go into the ice wall.
How
I
big
mean,
is
not
this-
the
how
ice,
big's
the
this
ice wall. That the ice wall is a myth.
Okay.
It's the shoreline. It's the shoreline of Antarctica.
So
right?
it's the shoreline, and then that turns into mountains, and it's actually not. It's just ice-covered mountains. You're saying,
Right. Yes. It's well, it might not be ice-covered mountains. We
why
don't
don't
know.
why don't they want us out there?
Because then you would know that you don't live on a ball. Then you would escape from the prison of your mind. This is all a prison for our mind.
So now with this whole I guess initiative going after global warming, what is this? What is that?
Nonsense.
So-
Global warming is a made-up joke. No, we
So
shouldn't.
It's a
We
ice
shouldn't
wall is-
pollute or anything.
So the ice
Yeah.
wall isn't melting or anything. It's just not real.
No, it's not real.
They just don't want us to
It's not.
question.
There's climate
question the
change
ice
all the
wall.
time. Yeah,
There
You know,
is.
they always tell us if Antarctica melts, the ocean rise 200 feet. Never doesn't make any sense on a ball. Well, if Antarctica melts and it's 10 times the size of the rest of the Earth, and there's 200 feet of ice, yeah, the Earth will the water will rise 100 or 200 feet. That makes perfect sense. makes perfect sense. But the whole man-made global warming thing is nonsense.
So do
Complete
you
and total nonsense.
now? This is, I guess, just an opinion of yours. Do you think outside of that wall, there's more land and there's other civilizations that we're not supposed to know about? Because I mean, originally everybody thought the Earth was flat, and then they said, "Oh, right," in the early
Maybe.
years, and then they turned it into that it was a globe, right? Because originally,
Check
like
out
in
my-
old times, it was flat.
Yeah, check. Well, you know what? That's another myth. Every civilization before NASA, every culture knew the
Thought it
Earth
was
was
flat,
flat.
right?
It was only in the early 1900s that they changed it to a ball. That's a shocker, right? There's people that are alive today that were taught flat Earth in public schools in America. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Check out on my channel, just look up DITRH. That's my YouTube channel, and Ruth interview, 102-year-old woman back in February of 2020. And she was taught in elementary school that the Earth was flat. And then we found newspaper articles about teachers being persecuted for trying to teach heliocentrism in the early 1900s, all the way up through the 1930s. They were teaching flat Earth across the plain.
And then they just switched it because
They switched it. It's
shits and giggles.
Yeah, well, not shits and giggles. It's about control. There was some reset that happened in the 1800s, and that they were the people that came out on the top that knew what was going on. The people that have claimed themselves to be the authority over us.
Mhm.
They decided to hide our world from us.
What interest does that gain? Just control over the people, so they can control
over the people.
the I guess the resources, the money, everything
right.
else.
And they can't break our free will. If you knew that you were at the center of creation and not on a speck spinning out of control, flying through an infinite universe, you might not obey the nonsense that they put out in front of us. You might not, listen to the crap that's going on. If you knew that there was other land beyond Antarctica, maybe with freedom, maybe you'd even want to head there,
Go explore it, see what it is.
I did a talk with Sophia Smallstorm on my channel called The Outward Flow of Civilizations. Look that up. And it talks about how these ancient cultures that disappeared, like the Mayans and the Incas and everything, maybe they flowed outwards with their sun. Maybe their sun started oscillating farther out, and they moved out with it. And then a new sun was born in the middle.
That's an interesting theory.
It's a theory. Don't have
It
any
isn't.
proof.
Yeah,
But there is. Here's a quick one, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Yeah,
Flight from Australia, from Santiago, should just be able to cut across Antarctica and end up over in Australia, but instead it goes all the way up, all the way across, and all the way down. And if you want to go to this side of Australia, it goes all the way up, all the way over to Europe and Dubai and down. And if you look at that on a flat Earth map, it goes all the way up across Europe, Dubai, Australia, straight line. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane, over the sea level, not the sea curve, not the air globe, airplane, sea level. Hey, Drew,
and no.
Drew, I know that look, man. You're fucked. It's over.
Yeah.
The ball is gone, my friend. It's gone. You're gonna have to come to grips with it. It might take you a few days. Right? Don't punch any walls or anything, because it's a good thing. Because now you have a foundation underneath your feet, something to stand on, something to know that you are at the center of creation, that you are a powerful being and nobody has control over you. None of the bullshit, none of it. You don't have to listen to any of it.
I've been trying to tell him that. No,
you guys
but it
work
does
out
make
together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you kick his ass, Garrett?
Who, Drew?
Yeah.
Depends on the day.
That's it. That's
depends on the
exactly
day.
right. It depends who's more caffeinated. That's
Yes.
the thing.
All
That's
right,
exactly
all
what it
right.
is. Who got more sleep? Who's more caffeinated? It's as simple as that, man.
I like it. I like
Yep.
it.
No, it's great. No, but it does make sense with the flight pattern, because I know a lot of people have said like certain flight patterns. Why did we go up over Alaska when we should be able to go this way and be there quicker? And
Yep. And they
Right?
say, well, you can't go over Antarctica. Hey, here's a little experiment you can do. Magnet at the center, North Pole, put a compass down and try to push it east or west. And you have to go in a circle, because the needle always has to point towards the center. East and west are circles on a flat Earth and on a globe Earth. Okay. North and south are straight lines. if the Earth was a globe, somebody would have gone from Santiago to Australia, and it hasn't happened ever.
They don't have any flights from there, huh?
No, they have direct flights,
They
but
do, but it goes up and around.
It actually goes up and around, or sometimes they might even go around because there's like 200, 300-mile-an-hour winds that go around here. But these planes are special planes. They have heat resistant paint on them, 7 layers. They could go 1,000 miles an hour. We don't know how fast they go, but they don't tell us. And those flights are canceled all the time due to, because the winds aren't cooperating.
So how big do you think the flat Earth is?
So Captain Cook is the last person that tried to sail around Antarctica, which is like 13,000 miles if it was a ball, but it took him 3.5 years, and he went over 60,000 miles. Okay.
So you're thinking he did the outer circumference?
He did. But there's no way to verify it. Like there's a sailboat race that goes all the way around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way around. I'm not sure the exact route, but it's called the Antarctic race. And supposedly they think that they're sailing around here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the amount of time it takes, and then the distance that they say that they went, because this is, 13, 50, maybe it's, because they're a little wider, 15,000 miles or whatever. And you do the math, those sailboats are going like 3 miles an hour. Those sailboats go like 30 miles an hour. Right. But the only way you can measure your distance is GPS, and GPS is controlled by NASA.
Those fuckers control everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Damn Nazis came in.
Yes.
Still taking over, running the show.
Yeah.
So, Drew, what do you think?
I don't know, man. I think I got to do some serious Googling.
Don't Google.
Don't
Drew,
Google.
Don't
go.
Oh no,
Drew, the app. You have to get the app because 500. It'll take you 500 hours. What you can find in the app in like 3 hours. You're gonna get all garbage that will poison your mind, and you'll just give up. You'll tire your mind out with all the nonsense. They are uploading hundreds of crap videos every day to bury our stuff. And if you Google flat Earth, it gives you nonsense. It gives you all garbage, the same garbage. And if you watch that, you'll be like, oh, that makes a good point. They're just leading weak minds. So
what this QR code that I'm seeing here, this takes you directly right to the app?
That takes you right to the app. If you just scan that or just search the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You need an Android 8.0 or better, or an iPhone 6 or better. The app is $3. Okay. Right. And then you don't have to subscribe. The little subscription is going to come up. You can exit out. You don't have to subscribe. You still get everything. And then watch the daily video every day while you're having your breakfast. And you'll be like, fucker, motherfucker, it's flat. Damn it. I've been fooled my whole life. But here's the thing. Now you have the rest of your life to know where you are rather than be lost in space, spinning out of control. This is all about control. Everything that's going on in the world right now. If we ever get our freedom back, how long are we going to be able to keep it if we don't know where we are, or who we are, or what we are? Okay. Or the power of our minds. Our minds create our reality, right? When you're going to kick Garrett's ass, it before you do it, right? Well,
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, there's some days I come in hopeful, and then, it surprises me, but
the power of your mind is way strong. So they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that you are the controller of your world. Guys, my podcast, The Flat Earth Podcast, Facebook page, The Flat Earth Podcast, the website, theflatearthpodcast.com, my YouTube channel, the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH. But if you want to learn about Flat Earth, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the way to go.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
If you're unsure about spending $3, I don't pay for apps. People say, just read the reviews. It's the highest rated app in the App Store.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much for coming. I know you're a busy man. You got another show to do with us, but myself and Drew, we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to try to shake our skulls around. So
yeah, nice work. I love talking to people that have the ability to think. It's a rare thing these days.
Very true. I agree with you 100%.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
See ya.